Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.
It's no big surprise that I'm a fan of Johnny Cash, the late Johnny Cash, who died in 2003. Johnny Cash came along in my life sort of at low points thinking about it. I didn't start listening to Johnny Cash till after his death, to be fair, but I knew of Johnny Cash when I picked up a compilation CD around about 2005 or so. Just listened to stuff like Cry, Cry, Cry and Walk the Line and all his classic hits, etc. Ring of Fire, etc. Just hit home with me, and like I could just listen to some of those songs, and eventually I came back to it down the line when I was having a bit of a low moment when I lost my job in about 2007. But what it was just listening to records of Johnny Cash on the vinyl player with my little brother, and kind of what comes around goes around, because the same happened in 2017 for me. Just listening to Johnny Cash, had a chest infection, just feeling ill, just listening to Johnny Cash and the spiritualness of him, what he meant, his classic hits, his Rick Rubin produced music which came late on in his life sort of thing. He lost his wife June Carter just after the video Hurt sort of thing. Hurt is probably one of his well-known modern hits sort of thing, which Rick Rubin produced, and it was originally a Nine Inch Nails song by Trent Reznor sort of thing. And the video for Hurt was very impactful. Always brings a tear to my eye. It's Johnny coming to the end of his life basically, and facing his immortality. Johnny's music has always been quite upbeat, mainly in the past sort of thing, and like sets the mood. And he was a fan of other artists like Bob Dylan, modern artists like, I'm trying to think now, there were modern artists that influenced him as well, because obviously he covered like the likes of Soundgarden, Rusty Cage, Rowboat, which I believe was by Beck, I believe. And Johnny Cash just went on, worked throughout most of his life, didn't stop. He had his problems in the past, like a lot of young men seem to, and people in general, not just men, seem to have in their early life and growing up, adolescent, getting involved in the wrong stuff in life. Like for him it was to do with the medication that he was on sort of thing, which kind of led him down dark paths, in which he eventually for himself kind of found God sort of thing. Being spiritual, he was being spiritual basically. The Man in Black, basically, the Man in Black song, that's a great tune indeed. It's just Johnny would wear the dark colours on his back basically to represent the downtrodden, those killed in the war, the Vietnam War, which was going off and stuff like that in Johnny's era sort of thing. Johnny was married a few times, I believe, or at least his famous marriage was to June Carter Cash. June Carter would support him all the way throughout his life, married for over 30 years, maybe 40 years, some sources say 35 years or so, but Johnny Cash, June Carter met in the entertainment industry, and of course it's been played out in the film Walk the Line, starring Reese Witherspoon, and the guy that played Johnny Cash sort of thing in the hit motion picture from 2006. Johnny Cash is an artist, bit of a chameleon in some ways, like adapting to his surroundings. And even though he was singing about God in the early days sort of thing, he kind of just went off on one sort of thing and just went completely contemporary, instead of just singing the gospel songs and stuff like that. Not that there's anything wrong in that, because his songs were really upbeat sort of thing. Yeah, you had stuff like When the Man Comes Around, Hurt, most of his stuff that he did with Rick Rubin, you know, he just recorded tons of songs before his death basically, and because he was touring a lot, it kind of put a strain on his body, sort of thing. And so it was around about 94, 96, something like that, maybe 97, that the doctors told him to basically stop touring, which he kind of did and sort of thing, but he did record songs still up until his last moment, sort of thing. And when June Carter passed away, and I think it was May 2003, it was 5 months later that Johnny Cash passed away as well, but like he recorded like over 60 songs or something like that in that time. 60 songs in 5 months with Rick Rubin and on the American label, sort of thing. Now Johnny Cash will always mean a lot to me. I think my friend Baden Redshaw did a cover of Hurt, and that always resonated in me, because every time I heard it, it was like it was awakening something inside me. Maybe it was a bit of a sadness sort of thing, but like just anybody who performs Hurt right is gonna have to go to those deep depths of themselves to like get that courage to sing it properly and reflect what it means, because originally Trent Reznor's song was about narcotic use, sort of thing, and Johnny Cash's version of Hurt, although a bit different, well, acoustic guitar driven sort of thing, was basically like about looking inside yourself, sort of thing, and like kind of almost questioning your immortality, sort of thing, like I mentioned before. And Johnny Cash just went on to make that song his own. As it was said, Trent Reznor was born to write that song, Johnny Cash was probably born to sing it, sort of thing. And what an amazing combination they were, even though Trent Reznor wrote the song originally for 9 Inch Nails, sort of thing, and Johnny Cash took it on board later down the line. He was hesitant about it, like he did like a lot of cover songs and made them his own and stuff like that, and that was amazing that some artists can do that and do it acoustically and do it amazing, putting his own touches on there, stripping songs back and making them just really nice, just his own, basically. He must have been heartbroken when he lost June Carter, and June actually told him to keep working on her deathbed, basically. She had open heart surgery, which she passed away afterwards, sort of thing. And Johnny was basically like beaten down, broken, and would just keep going on like a soldier, like a trooper, basically. Johnny Cash would also have the Johnny Cash show, sort of thing, with June Carter back in the day as well, and provide family entertainment, family values, and perform songs and do routines, etc. He also did Glastonbury 1994 as well, where you had bands like Oasis and Britpop bands playing and stuff like that. And then we had this country legend playing at muddy Glastonbury in the UK, sort of thing, and wow, amazing. Johnny Cash was always amazing, and I've always had respect for the guy. I've always come back to him in some capacity, and the resurgence has come recently with myself, and like for some reason his voice resonates with like the younger generation as well. And like, you know, you can play a Johnny Cash song, maybe an upbeat Johnny Cash song, mainly to like younger generations, and they just probably would just get it, and just like it's like a father figure. Johnny Cash is definitely a father figure. He was a father, he was a parent, and just an amazing guy from what I've seen of him, from what I gather from Johnny Cash, the late Johnny Cash, sort of thing, who passed away in 2003. Johnny Cash, I salute you. You do mean a lot to me, and I just think it's amazing that you just was so spiritual that all you was doing was you put yourself into your songs and into your tunes and to everything that you did, probably good and bad. He's always good and bad. But the legacy you left behind will never be forgotten. Not anytime soon, anyway. Thank you, Mr. Johnny Cash.